All right. Hey guys, it's Star. Most of you guys know me as Star anyway. My real name is Josh, and I wanted to introduce 5 Star Alterations, and then we're gonna go over a few of our products. And this is gonna be my first long form video, so I'm gonna try to cut out the ums and the ahs and the long pauses. But yeah, bear with me, not a professional, total amateur here. When I first started 5 Star Alterations, what I wanted to do was bring Lord of the Rings style fantasy into the real world prepared citizen role. And the reason why I wanted to do that was because Lord of the Rings is awesome and this shit's pretty cool. I thought maybe the poncho would be a little bit more field applicable than a cloak, and I also thought it would be a bit easier to make. And while I found that to be true, my first ponchos sucked, and all my friends know that. They could vouch for that. But over time, they got better, and I got better materials, and I wanted something field ready, something that you could take out into this type of environment and not be scared it's going to rip or tear, and something that was going to be warm when you needed it to be warm. That was really why I wanted to do it. I didn't want thin, cheap linen or something like that. That cosplay cloaks is really what I like to call them. This is field gear that you could take out and treat like shit. All my friends and I have treated ours like shit. I wanted to go over the question, why wool? And I think a lot of people know initially why, and it's because it keeps you warm, it can keep you dry. Even the wool without any treatment still has a little bit of water resistance, so if it's sprinkling or a light drizzle, you're not really going to get wet underneath this. I've had people wear it in the rain. Thanks, train. I've had people wear it in the rain even though I was like, hey, it's not waterproof, and they say it acts fine. So unbeknownst to me, when I first got started with this, one of my friends, Jason, actually told me about this, and I had to look it up because I was like, how is this true? But it is true. We've tested it. It's absolutely true. Wool does help hide your thermal signature. There's a lot of scientific reasons for that. Mainly it's the trapped air in the fibers acts as an insulator. And, you know, caveat, it does heat up eventually, especially if it's hot outside, especially if it's humid, especially if you're hiking, brucking, stuff like that. Any of our wool products are going to heat up eventually, especially around the shoulders where it's touching the body the most. That's why I made the hoods big, so you can put it over your helmet and it's not directly touching your head or your face, so that helps protect some of the thermal delay aspect. And then the big flowy oversized poncho, the ponchos are oversized, they're quite large. Even the medium and the smalls are big on people, and that's why, is because I want material covering your legs. I don't want it touching your legs. The more we can keep the material from touching you, the longer the thermal delay lasts. I've seen plenty of YouTube videos that kind of disprove the fact that wool can hide you from thermals. Those videos are true. If you're close enough, if you have a high enough detailed thermal monocular or whatever, I keep sliding down this fucking hill. If you're close enough, yeah, it's totally visible across a field or hidden in the trees in the brush. Or if you're using the grommet tie-outs on the poncho and it's not even touching your body, no, that actually helps a lot. It's thermal delay. It's tricking the person behind the camera, not the sensor. The sensor's going to catch it. But if you look like a bunny rabbit or a possum or just an anomaly like a warm tree, because trees do have their own warmth, especially after sunset, like that's where that can actually be advantageous. All right, let's try this. So I wanted to introduce the field cloak, but I forgot to mention during the introduction of me, that the company is just me. It's just me, and my wife helps out when she can. So all the sewing, boxing, cutting, designing, website, social media, it's all me, Josh. The second thing I wanted to mention is that I'm not ex-military. I'm not a cop or anything. I'm just a dude, just like you. I just like cool gear, and I just wanted to make things that could survive the outdoors the way that I treat gear. The forest cloak, or the field cloak as I like to call it, is exactly that. It's built for the field. I put a lot of design aspects and thought into what I would want, and I kept durability and usability at the top of the chart when I was making this. So first off, the body is one piece. It's a half circle design, so it's cut from one long piece of fabric. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because there's no seams. There's no seams that are gonna rip if it gets caught on brush, a log, you know, anything like that. So the half circle design actually means that it's more open in the front for a reason, on purpose. And that was so we could have ready access to chest mounted magazines. A lot of people were asking for maybe a slit or a kangaroo, or like a flap style, like on an anorak for the poncho, so they could get to their chest mounted magazines. Or they wanted a cloak that was open in the front and they can get to their chest, and there's the train again. That's cool. So the half circle design means it doesn't close up in the front. I'm probably going to hit the mic, but even if I wanted to close it up, it doesn't fully close up in the front on purpose, because I want to have access to my mags. I don't want a bunch of material around my arms. I have open arm access, you know, hold my rifle, get to my magazines, stuff like that. The body, let me step back a second, is actually a little bit shorter than what some would consider like a ceremonial cloak or even a full-size cloak. There are two big reasons why I made it a little bit shorter. Is I had that field cloak mindset going into this. It wasn't ceremonial. I didn't need it dragging the ground while we were out here running around in the woods with all the brush and the grass and stuff. It's long enough already. It doesn't need to be getting caught up on everything. Two is, if you look at the reference photos for the Cloaks of Lorien in Lord of the Rings, they are actually all just below the knee. So even in the films, even in Lord of the Rings, they didn't wear the full-size cloaks out in the field. Frodo and Samwise were wearing shorter cut field cloaks to go to Mordor. So the hood, we could finish talking about that. I wanted to have the drawstring because that actually matters to me. If it's windy, you can close it up around your head, tie it up, and it's not constantly falling off. There's like 4.5 feet of paracord in the drawstring. That, I think, speaks to the design philosophy of all my products, because I'm trying to build something that you can use in the field. It's not a shoestring or a cotton twine. It's literally paracord, because you and I use paracord all the time when we go out camping, when we go out outdoors and do things. So it'll fit over your tactical helmets, but you can also do the Darth Sidious thing if you really want to. So yeah. Lastly, and I'll try to sneak up here and see if you guys can see, but the G-hook clasp has a couple different design elements in it. One, I wanted to use a G-hook and not a side release buckle. I tried the side release buckle and it seemed like it was a little too big. It would get caught up in your throat. It would get caught up on here. You couldn't close it tight enough. A side release buckle is a good, 2 inches with all the hardware and stuff, whereas the G-hook isn't that wide. So you can tighten this thing up quite a bit. I used webbing for the G-hook clasp because we all know that that's the material of choice, whether it's for chest rigs, plate carriers, battle belts. Webbing is super strong and perfect for this application. I put the tag end of the webbing actually on the inside. That way, hopefully you can see that okay, but that way it kind of tucks in on itself and it's very clean. If I did it on the outside, you'd always have the flap hanging, and there's not really a good way to tie it up, especially if you're tightening the webbing, the clasp as tight as it goes. So yeah, those are some of the design considerations for the field cloak and why it's a field cloak and not a ceremonial cloak. I am designing a more full-size cloak. You could think of it as the version 2, and it might have some other features to it. I don't really know exactly yet. Like, some people are asking for additional closures so they could close it up in on themselves, or maybe a pocket on the inside or something like that. Those will come, and those will be in the future. But think of this as the version 1, or the scout poncho. It is almost bare bones, kind of. It's a field cloak that's meant to keep you warm, look cool, and actually be durable enough to take out in the field. Lastly, I wanted to say thank you to all the customers that have been here from the beginning, my friends and my family, who have endured nonstop 5-star talk for going on 2 years now. This has changed my life. This isn't a hobby anymore. This is, as soon as I wake up to the moment I fall asleep, this is all I think about, is how do I bring Lord of the Rings fantasy into the modern world with tactical and gun stuff. My two big loves. And combining them two, like I said, has changed my life. If you're new around here, go to the website, ask questions in the comments, let me know your thoughts, and yeah, we'll see you later. Let's do some more stuff. Let's hang out more.